Thursday subscriber stream here on lichess and Twitch. International Master William Paschall, otherwise known as Slaggy on Twitch, and Sparkle Horse is my handle here on lichess. I only have one. I like to be transparent, you know. I don't like the secret account stuff. So what's up, guys? We're going to be doing some game analysis today with our subscribers. I've got lots of submissions from many of the subscribers. What is up? Can't even type. I'm not even going to try to type because I can't type. I suck at typing. I used to be a little bit better. Never very good. But the less you do it, you know, you lose it. You use it, you lose it. What? How does it work? You don't use it, you lose it. All right. My handwriting skill is even worse, but fortunately that doesn't count. So, what is up? Bob Sacamano, Saul, Asterbait, lots of subscribers here in the house. Arsenal fan, JCS. JCS, you gifted a subscription to Soltigo. That's awesome. Who else we got? Move 11 is here. Della Corta, thanks for subscribing. I mentioned everybody in the house. So, guys, I really just try to focus on the subscribers for the stream. Spectacular Camels here. I've got submissions from the following players to go over games. Asterbait, first on the list. JCS. S4. Move 11. Yabadis and Soltigo. And I'm waiting for further instructions. So, I'm going to open my eyes and say hello, guys. Cheers to Bob and JC. Oh, Bob gifted a sub to you as well. Bob gifted you the sub, Arsenal fan. Wow, that's awesome. I did not know that. Okay, very generous of Bob and JCS. Move 11, a man he's also gifted subs in the past. Thanks you guys for that. We got the football emotes kicking out there. It's like, for me, it doesn't look like a football emote. That looks like a mushroom. I don't know why that looks so much like a mushroom to me. Is it just me, or do other people feel that way about the purple and white mushrooms? I got the Slaggy God mode, power-ups with Twitch lit. Yeah, Mario Brothers, it's like a purple Mario Brothers mushroom. So guys, let's get started. Thought it looked like something from Mario Land too. Yeah, it's really weird. It doesn't look like a football. So, we've got... Where is this? Asterbait. Erdna just challenged me, but we're probably not doing any... Because I've had so many submissions for game analysis, we're probably not doing any blitz. Let me find this. Maybe I should just go to my messages here. All right. So, Asterbait, Thursday stream choice for analysis. Mr. Asterbait, you've made progress since joining the stream. And I'm not just snowing you. I mean, I really think that you really have made great strides. We're going to work to control the game a little bit better and not be impulsive. And take your time building your position before you really spring the trap. No problem, Erdna. So, all the subscribers, check Benoni. No check Benoni today. Asterbait is white. Now, check this out. No, that can't be right. Asterbait must be black here because he plays the C3 Sicilian. All right, he's black against the Chupacabra. Blood-sucking animal. Chupacabra. El Chupacabra. Playing white. 10-0 rated rapid. I think this is a great time control for training. I will say, Mr. Coffee, what's up? Mr. Coffee, you have a tournament coming up this weekend. I think Spectacular Camel also has a tournament coming up. So best of luck to you guys. All right, we're going to take a look at Asterbait here playing black in the Sicilian defense. He likes to go over his games with black, which is kind of cool. E4, C5, Knight F3, D6 from Asterbait. And then white plays D4, C takes D4, Knight takes D4, E5. I don't know what this is called. Does the lichess Opening Explorer have a name for it? I just messed up the screen, but it's called Sicilian Defense Number 2. Very interesting. Enlightening name. The official name, obviously, of this opening. Sicilian Defense Number 2. So I do have some, some insights here, because I have seen this and gone over this with some other people. It's similar to Boleslavsky, but it's not the Boleslavsky. The Boleslavsky is when you play, how does it go? Knight f6, knight c3, a6. Boleslavsky would be what? Bishop e2? No. It would be knight c6, bishop e2. I think this is the Boleslavsky here. e5, after knight c6, bishop e2. Let's make sure. Yes, I am right. It's a line that I don't play, but it's probably not a bad variation for black. It should equalize. Just I always thought it was kind of boring, so I never chose that. The structure is similar to the Boleslavsky, but you're playing e5 here. Now this is a very important position because white, el señor. White needs to play bishop b5 check. This is the secret move. It reminds me a little bit of the Zoltan Varga variation, which is knight f6, f3, and then typically black will play like e5, and white will play bishop b5 check. This variation also, same idea. We play like bishop b5 check, try to trade the white square bishop, which is really black's good bishop. So Nefedov is next in the list. All right, we've got Nefedov subscribing, and not subscribing, but he is subscribed. Nefedov, I spelled your name strange. When you say Rachmaninoff, I always think of Rachmanov, this grandmaster style I like. It's hard to say like those two things and get them clear. Whereas the Zoltan Varga variation, this f3 is something of a concession. I mean, white takes time to play f3. In this case, black's just playing e5 straight away. This diagonal is open, which can actually be really vital. So you're supposed to play bishop b5 check. Now here I saw an interesting line. I mean, obviously, black can interpose either way. If knight d7, you go knight f5. And surprisingly, there's some strong players, including Zoltan Varga, playing black with Leko, the young Leko Peter. But I was talking about Zoltan Varga with white. This is Sam Adams, Boston Lager, standard stuff. So this is like bishop b5 check, knight f5. You have a good knight. It's pressuring d6. This is probably holdable for black, but like unpleasant after this. Strange variation. Bishop a4. That's a Nefedov move. He likes to do that. Here, bishop b3, and apparently knight c5. I've never seen this position before, but it looks better for white, like without a doubt. Robert Bator. That's very strange. Another Robert Bator. I thought it was Richard Bator. Strange. Maybe there's more than one. So, all right, back to what we're talking about here. He's supposed to play bishop b5 check. The most interesting variation is actually bishop d7. You trade the bishops, and then there was something interesting with the queen, now I recall. So after queen takes, the question is like where the knight should go. It may actually be a little bit counterintuitive. You'd think that knight f5 is definitely the best move here for white, but it's not. Black plays knight f6, hits the pawn. Now if knight c3, we have d5 or some sort of trick. We have this trick. Okay, this is the point. So the natural moves for white really don't lead to an advantage. Natural meaning like the knight going to f5. Knight f5 is not sufficiently supported. So we should go here, and this was the coolest variation I saw, because there's a really neat line. Queen g4, knight c3, Queen takes g2. Wow, black won a game between two computers in 2006. Rook g1, queen h3. Now knight d5. I mean, this position just looks extremely dangerous for black. Knight a6. This is the chess lion against hierarchs. Very good compensation for the sacrificed pawn. Now there's a line that I forgot. There was another interesting line, which I've actually forgotten. Yeah, but anyway, you get the idea how this goes. So Aster B, do not attempt to play e5. This is not really a good move. To make a long story short, e5 not really a trustworthy variation. Maybe you wanted to play the Paschall or something else, but you've got to play knight c6 first in order to play e5. Something like a Kalashnikov, maybe here. Here and here, this becomes viable. Something like, I don't even know what this is called. What is this even called? This is Sicilian Defense number 2. This is actually not as bad as it looks. Haberbaum submitted a game. Yule Skinner. Okay, guys, I'll hopefully get to all these games, but I think we're going to draw the line around here. If anybody shows up later, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it. Got a lot of games to go over. So, long story short, yeah, I flipped the board by accident. How did I do that magically? Do you just put your games into the chat? The easiest way to submit the game, send me a message on lichess. Pass pawn 99. If you put the games in the chat, our moderator Soltigo can send a message to me. That's the easiest way to do it. But anyway, let's check it out. So this is why it's very important to be incisive when your opponent makes a mistake in the opening. I always say that bad moves become good moves when they're not punished. And I think that's the case with a move like e5 here. White doesn't find this idea of playing bishop e5. He doesn't really get an edge. Chess is a difficult game. So knight b3, kind of like inferior square. Knight f6 now. Is there something better for black? Not really. Maybe bishop e6. Just delaying that. I mean, I don't know. I've seen crazy people play like f5. Saul would probably do that. But I mean, once I saw like Shabalov play a Kalashnikov, this is just extremely dangerous trying to play f5 or something. Okay, this looks like knight bishop e6 or knight f6. Knight f6, knight c3. Could we transpose to something here? It's like a Najdorf, but it's not a Najdorf. Black didn't have to play a6. And now you transpose to the Najdorf. So it's actually become what, like a relatively normal Najdorf. a6. No, it's a, what is this? It's a Grishuk variation, right? Knight b3 voluntarily, followed by e5. Grishuk. Bishop g5, that's the best move. There it is. Grishuk Napomniachtchi. Grishuk Amanatov. Amanatov. So, two moves, bishop e6 or bishop e7. I don't like knight on bd7, blocking the bishop on c8. That seems kind of unnatural. So, although the engine likes it, I don't see anything wrong with this. But it looks like white can jump on the... He jumps on the d5 square. Bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6. This is what Grishuk must have done. He's got two games in here, both wins. Bishop takes, queen d3. Which is not really, dangerous looking, trading a piece so early. He managed to beat two strong players with it, though. I don't know. Doesn't seem convincing to me. But anyway. Easy to play, safe for white. Bishop g5. Yeah, this move is kind of interesting to go here. That seems a little more spicy. A little more feisty of a move. Bishop e6. Played bishop e7. It's solid. Now bishop c4. Bishop c4. Very aggressive move. Now what? Bishop e6. Fighting for d5. So I don't want to criticize this move. Maybe white should just play like holding, you know, holding the position, just holding the bishop on c4, not playing knight d5, not exchanging on e6, just maintaining the tension basically. You have another plan here though, Astrobate. Like you might be able to play knight here and knight b6. That looks kind of tempting. I'm always talking about how like b6 is a bad square for the knight, but in this particular instance, where that's just coming with tempo next move, followed by like bishop e6 to follow. I mean, I don't know. Let's say a4, knight b6. Huh. Totally new position. For example, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6. Could even play like bishop d5, I would imagine. Engine doesn't really like that, but I don't imagine that black can be worse. I mean, white can be worse here. Here's where you see Stockfish like totally biased. It thinks that black is automatically better because it has 2 bishops for 2 knights. I'm not that convinced. I think this particular engine overvalues the bishops. But for example, Astrobate, knight bd7 and knight b6 is an interesting plan. Okay, so anyway, you did a consequent thing. You could also just castle. You played this. He trades, okay? Now it's going to be hard for him to exploit this. But maybe he can do, you know, one of these things, sliding over and hitting the pawn. But at the same time, you can always defend with like queen c8. Queen d7. Routine move. Knight bd7. Okay. Where do we want to put this knight now, though, in this situation? Normally in the Najdorf, I think it's better on d7. But in this case, I'm not sure. You do keep the c-file open here for black. Like knight d7 with the idea of the classic sort of rook c8, rook takes c3, Petrosian exchange sacrifice. That's one idea. More typically it goes to d7 in the Najdorf, but I think that knight c6 is also okay, just like a central move. The knight also covers the other knight, so you know he basically keeps d6 protected by the bishop. The problem here is going to be your e6 pawn. With the knight c6, we have moves like queen c8 and queen d7 to protect the pawn e6. Now if he goes queen f3, queen h3, this is going to become a problem. How are we going to protect that pawn in a really convenient way, in other words? Of course, this is an advanced concept that the average player might not find. He trades here. This is totally innocuous. Astrobate's like, why don't you castle? No, I don't have a problem with delaying castling here. I mean, I think in the Sicilian... Actually, Soltigo should play the Sicilian because that's an opening where like delaying castling is almost mandatory. Yeah, so this move, it's interesting. At first sight, okay, he's weakening himself a lot, particularly on the dark squares, but you don't have that much ammunition to really attack him. So I don't think f4 is that bad, actually. It's a little bit loosening. It's safer to play queen d3, queen f3, queen h3. For inaccuracy. And obviously, Astrobate here. Yep, that's right. You have visitor. Hey. What's up, man? Hey, everybody. I just wanted to come in and just kind of, give my 2 cents about this h5 thing, I like it, okay? I don't care what everybody else says, but h5, that's a spicy meatball, okay? As Bob would say. I just imagine Bob saying that. But anyway, h5, yeah, that's a risky move, but I like it. That's a chess panda. He's a big fan of violent, unsound kind of attacks. But, what's that? Muleskinner says, where's the Panda Cam? I'm going to unsubscribe if Panda does not get his own cam. Panda Cam was unplugged. So you like the Panda Cam? I didn't know. We didn't know that anybody liked it. Can reinstall the Panicam. F4H5, yeah. Dude, even castles here. Don't fear the double isolated E-pawns. That's all I have to say. I mean, that is a juicy structure. I love these pawns. These pawns are just controlling everything. They're like hedgehog quills or porcupine quills or something. I mean, they just control everything. It looks like a centipede. Don't fear the double Isolanis. I'm more concerned about white playing F5. Basically, white's plan is to take over the white squares. The dark square. Bishop keep you kind of shut down. Play F5. Just take the white squares. So I think you need to take it, probably. Always take it. You need to take it and try to get a grip on the dark squares. Take, rook takes. Time to castle, man. Don't be like Soltigo and be like you gotta not castle on principle. Sometimes you just gotta castle. That's all. If you could get a knight on e5 or even a bishop or anything, this is a juicy square for black to get like an outpost on e5. The human centipawn. Absolutely. Yeah, that looks like the human centipawn there on e5. h5, okay, this is speculative. It's a kind of fishing pole. You're developing a rook on h8, I'll give you that. But, I mean, it just looks, yeah. He's going to play h3, got no knight g4. And it just looks weakening, you know. h5 is weakening. Alright, so another thing is he can also play f5, but I would play h3. He plays f5, giving you one last shot at redemption, basically. Knight g4, queen b6 check. That's not going to be enough. We can't really checkmate the guy with two pieces, you know. Just this and this. He's going to play queen e2 and shut us down. But apparently you had d5 here, which is like a shocking move. I wouldn't believe this if I didn't see it, you know, to be honest. To me, I would think that black was in deep trouble here. After f takes e4, d4, I'm still kind of in a state of shell shock. Maybe Alpha Zero would play like rook takes f6 and make it work, make it stick. But man, that's interesting. Black doesn't even think about taking on f6. He plays d takes c3. Hypothetical variation, where like if you took with a bishop, rook takes f6, let's say pawn takes or bishop takes. Man, you got the knight from hell on d5. That's going to be difficult to get rid of that knight on d5. So, I don't know, Astrobate. This is unsound. Too Panda-like. Now knight g4. But the thing is, this is easily met. You know, he just plays queen e2, and he can diffuse your threats. Yeah, that's a surprising line, though. I would have thought that white was undermining the center too quickly before this to even be good. But according to the engine, black actually gets away with this. That's shocking. It almost seems unsound. Castles is a move. Okay, I mean, castling now for me is out of the question. Astrobate plays knight g4. You're not developing your pieces, you know, so bad things are bound to happen. Queen d2, which turns out to be a blunder because of the following move. That's why, you know, when you've got a guy who has just stuff on the dark squares, then put everything on the white squares. Nothing can hurt you. You know, queen e2. There's a lot of geometry in chess. The queen, particularly, you know, it's controlling the squares the knight can go to geometrically. So it makes sense. When a piece is on the diagonal from a knight, it's like at the maximum distance from that thing to attack it. I mean, master intuition just tells you the queen goes on e2. We're dominating the knight's path. We don't want to put things on dark squares. We want to control the white squares. So this was like a big mistake by Chupacabra. Big mistake. Astrobate pouncing. He found queen e2. But he lost kind of a vital tempo there. And now your bishop is almost in the game. Playing for smothered mate. I mean, you know, we got the primitive bishop e3, but what does that do? You know, he's going to play knight d1. He can protect everything. That's what, yeah, Acerbate, he's an aggressive player. He played the obvious move, you know, the obvious aggressive move, but it's not enough. It's not a plan, you know, and you're neglecting your pieces. Your king is in the center, your rooks are disconnected, and you're going bishop e3. You know, you're just dropping the ball here. He could have embarrassed you with this. Another great exchange sacrifice. Man, I'd love nothing better to have an opponent go like knight f2 check, rook takes f2, bishop takes f2, knight d5 resigns. You're just totally punished here for lack of development. This is over. So, neglecting development, and you deserve punishment for that. White played knight d1. You conned him. You made him play passively. He was scared of your reputation, Acerbate. Maybe he saw the panda watching the game or something. I don't know, but this guy was just scared. He went passive, and it was bad. So here we go. Brilliant try. You know, I got to give you credit. It's a brilliant try. But it's just, it doesn't work, you know. It just doesn't work because he's covering f2. So this is a major brain freeze. Bishop g1, dreaming of a smothered mate that doesn't exist. What do you want to do here, Acerbate? Bishop f4, try to create some weaknesses, maybe? He's just going to play g3. And I think you just end up losing a move there. So it's not clear what you could do. Take on f5. This is the less of the evils. But actually, Acerbate, like, instead of doing this bishop e3, right? Queen b6 here. Again, the computer just recommends development. You know, that's hard to stomach because it looks like h3 and you're going to fall apart. I mean, I don't know if I would find castles there. I would be terrified of this h3 and my position coming apart, you know, the wheels falling off with like queen takes h5. I might consider castling queenside if I were black or some other move. Or just taking on f5. That would probably be what I would do. But white remains with an advantage. I did notice, like, this was a suggestion at one moment. Queen e3. Like, you're in deep, deep trouble on the white square. So black's already basically hosed. Knight d1. This is suicide. He takes it, and now you're just busto. Now you're just busto. Rook c8. And if you save this game with that... he saved the game with that nasty, nasty fishing pole. This is purely for entertainment value, folks. He takes f5, rook f1, getting his rook out of take, eliminating stalemate threats, and then f4. Yeah, so instead of rook f1, I mean, he should just recapture on f5, right? I mean, I wouldn't let this pawn... He shouldn't let this pawn remain and do damage. The pawn is a small piece, you know, eliminate it, take. You're even opening up more pressure against the black king here, essentially. So this was crazy. He did this, you got f4 in, giving you some glimmer of hope. Then g3, weakening his king side, but giving his king the g2 square. So we see the idea. Now h4, absolutely desperation, dropping a knight. Ooh, and he has queen takes g4. After queen takes g4, you're definitely done. But he gives you this sort of helpmate attack. Oh my god, and everything falls. H takes g, king g2, rook h2, and he loses the queen here. White resigned. White resigned because rook takes e2, dropping the queen, and everything falls apart. Okay, Acerbate. The noticeable thing about this game was the white squares. The white squares just came off completely. You know, I don't like those white squares, but he wasn't able to accurately exploit that. Okay, JCS is up next. I got another from Chesstosterone. I'm going to try to get to as many games as we can, guys. I'm going to have to speed it up a little bit. Is moving pawns in front of your king a good idea? There is a few exceptions, you know, like if you play the King's Indian, classical King's Indian in closed positions, where pawn storms are a very important part of the position, then moving pawns in front of the king isn't necessarily good or bad. It's like a necessity. black side of classical King's Indian. You got to play like G5, H5, F4. And some people are reticent to do that. So if that's the case, then you shouldn't be playing that opening. But generally speaking, no, you want to try to avoid moving pawns in front of the king, of course. That was very lucky. Very lucky. All right, on to the next one. So, what do we got here? JC. Where is JC? Queen's Gambit refuse. Say what? Who made up the names for this? Do you hear this? Queen's Gambit refused. I never heard that in my life. Lichess with its names. I love lichess, but somebody's got to rename these opening. Or maybe they got it from the Opening Explorer. I don't know. That's crazy. Queen's Gambit refused. So like E6 and C6 is declined, but Knight C6 is refused. That's interesting. I never heard that before. Yeah, I meant for defender. Yeah, of course. If you're on the defensive side, you have a disadvantage, less space. I mean, there may be a situation where you're like all in and you have no other chance but to push some pawns, but for the most part, yeah, pass pawn. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, this is my game with Mark LaRocca. Oh my god. I was what? I don't remember this game. Oh man, what am I going to my Knight C3? Chigorins. I don't remember this at all. Wow, I played Mark LaRocca in 2001. So this guy's like an expert or weak master. Actually, he was a master. His rating went down. I think he was over 2200. This was from... Actually, what are the notes here? Thank you very much in advance for analyzing this game. So he doesn't give any like requests or anything. JCS submitted one of my own games where I was white. This is cool because I haven't seen this game in forever. September 2001. I don't know what it was. Probably some New England tournament. I'm white, d4, d5, knight f3, knight c6. I don't know what possessed me to play that move order. That's very uncharacteristic of me, actually. I almost never, ever use this move order. Like, once against John Shaw, I lost in Hastings. I don't know what would have possessed me to do that, though. Maybe just completely random. Maybe... Percy Hepworth, thanks for the 100-bit donation. Oh, it's September 2001. Whoa, that's weird. Yeah, September 3rd, 2001. Like 8 days before September 11. That's weird. Knight f3, knight c6. And then I played c4, and he played bishop g4, and I played knight c3. Actually, my preferred way of playing against the Chigorin is to actually play like c4, knight c6. But to tell you the truth, I had no idea what LaRocca plays, and I mean, he might have played many things. I just remember a game where I was black against the guy and beat him in a Caro-Kann. I completely forgot about this game. But I don't think I had any knowledge of his opening repertoire, so I wasn't like playing this for any specific reason. Then he plays this Chigorin. Nowadays I'm playing g3, which I like a lot. But my argument is, I think that the most accurate move order is like c4, knight c6, knight c3. I believe this is white's best line against the Chigorin. This is the most accurate, and I would normally choose that. Once white has to play knight f3, I feel like he's lost a little bit off his fastball here. So, now we've got knight f3, knight c6, c4. And then bishop g4. And now it's okay. You know, I remember a famous Aliekin game where Aliekin was white, and he played like knight c3, black played e6, and then Aliekin did something like cd, ed, and queen a4. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So I wasn't that happy here. Actually, I think I've had a lot of blitz games with a guy named Chris Chabris who used to play this. This isn't that bad for black, in my opinion. Um, but then the guy turned around and played e5 in this position. I was probably pretty surprised because, as far as I know, like this isn't really a normal thing. So knight c3, e5. And then I was thinking, okay, what is this? You know? Only 2 games here. It's basically like an Albin. And I'm on my own. You know, I didn't have any theoretical knowledge of this position. I mean, if I play knight takes e5, knight takes e5, like d takes e5, check this out, h3. Is that an awesome position? Stockfish wants to play h3. How cool is that move? This is just a game that I played against a random 2100 player JCS found. But anyways, okay, this is also possible. My analysis would have been like ED, maybe D4, and it turns into an Albin-like position. But I think the fact that a piece has been exchanged probably favors white. You know, it's probably better to be up a pawn with one more piece off the board here. So anyway, against LaRocca though, I looked at this and I figured, okay, this is going to be the most forcing. So apparently Igor Ivanov had a game with Ian Rogers in 1982. And Rogers did exactly what this guy did here. But it doesn't look good for black, you know. Rogers played weird openings. He was kind of a specialist in that. A suspect, yeah, it's a little suspect. I mean, the Albin counter gambit almost works. I guess if you played it like religiously perfectly, you could get playable positions. But it's really like making your life difficult playing an opening like the Albin. Bishop takes f3, and now here I think I decided to take with a g-pawn because I like taking toward the center. I like central pawn majority. You know, someone played d takes c6. That's utterly lame. I remember like there was an old Chigorin game that went something similar to this. But this is not really dangerous for black. I think black's okay here. So little knowing, you know, that I was following this Igor Ivanov versus Rogers game, I played what Igor played. You know, Igor's a good player. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. Knight takes d4, now by LaRocca, which is like losing by force, I suppose. So Rogers played ED, symmetrical approach. ED and d takes c6 by Igor. So what's the point here? In this Igor Ivanov variation, d takes c, d takes c3, Igor must have a trick. Just simply plays c takes b7, queen takes d1 check. What do we do? Take with the king, and rook d8 check. Yeah, this is just dubious for black. So no matter what, it's just bad. I don't know what black was thinking. So LaRocca didn't like that, which is also bad. Instead, he played this, which seems even worse. He takes d4, e3. Now his knight is trapped. So he has to play knight f5. And, you know, I play queen a4 check, which is best according to the engine. I mean, obviously, bishop b5 check is also strong. I don't recall this game at all. Now king e7. Queen e4. So I just went for this forced win of the central pawn here. Stockfish is coming up with other moves, like insane moves, f4. I just played this. So he went king f6, which is actually the best move. It defends both. Why do I have zero recollection of this? Man, I don't remember this. It was like a it was a laugher. Now bishop h3, knight d6, queen h4 check, g5, queen h5, and apparently I messed this up. Like, I messed my position up significantly here by playing this sequence. I should have just kept my king like in the center, but you have the feeling like you've got to do something actively against that king on f6. Like, the best move according to the engine is to go here. But here, alright. I just played this. I mean, at this point I was kind of like, okay, this guy's out of his mind. You know, this will be an easy win. He plays h6, and I played f4. There's got to be a reason JCS chose this game. Brings his king back to shelter. So he almost has a playable position now. You know, he really... That was an amazing walk. It's weird that I have no recollection of this game. Like rook g1. But it makes sense because I did like to play knight c3. I mean, I don't think this is a mistake. I think this was really my game, probably. But I can't possibly remember them all. Queen e8 check here, bishop e3. f5. That looks kind of crazy. Like kind of weakening. f5. Knight f6 is logical. I have queen h4, apparently. All these moves are strong. No, that's my USCF rating. I was probably around 24 or 40 FIDE at that time. That's why my rating is so high. I discussed this before. The US ratings are about 75 points inflated. So on average, my USCF rating was like 2,500 something. My FIDE was probably low to mid 2,400s. F5, Queen E2, G4, castles queenside. I mean, at this point, I really, again, I don't recollect this, but I would have think that I was a little bit frustrated by this point, thinking like this game should have been over like 5 moves ago. So bishop f1, I don't know what made me play that. I want to keep my rook open. Best move according to the engine. I mean, bishop g2 also like fights for the center, but here, king f7. Laraka played well despite the ridiculous opening. To get to this position, only minus 1.5 after what was going on is actually not that bad. Queen d7, bishop d3. I was patient here. Bishop g7. Yeah, I'm surprised. I think the modern me would have probably played like king b1. I played this. And I feel like I've gone nowhere here. And then f3, trying to open up the position. I guess I'm looking for like queen f2. I would think I would have been a little disturbed by this game, having not put him away by this point. And h3 just opening up the lines. I guess he lost his mind right about now. He's done a credible job like surviving this far, but the bottom line is that now I'm trying to open up the position. And if you want to notice this, I have 2 bishops. All my pieces are active. I haven't been materialistic. You know, the material is even. But he takes his pawn on d5. Like, that's crazy. That pawn on d5 is actually really... It's really protecting him. It's like his best pawn. My highest FIDE rating was like 2465 or something like that. But I think unofficially I was probably around 2475. In the mid-tournament, in some mid-tournament stage when I reached my maximum. So I wish I had cared more because I would have like made an effort to reach 2500. I just thought, oh, you know, it'll come no matter what. And it never did. No, I'm not like a weak IM. Like a lot of people say, oh, he's 2350. He's one of those weak IMs, you know. But actually, I was really like, yeah, I was like closer to 2500 than 2400 at one point. But, you know, whatever. h3 here. Queen b3 here. This is a weird game. I can't even guess many of my own moves. But there's something else, like, there's this kind of feeling, you know, when you play someone who you've played before, and you've beaten them before, like I had beaten Laraka before, you kind of have a whammy on them, you know, like, you know they're afraid of you. You can see it in their eyes. I mean, I knew I was gonna beat this guy. Now his king is just out there in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's no doubt. I'm not even playing like the best moves, like second or third best moves, but you can't survive with your king on f6. He showed very little respect for king safety in this game. I mean, this guy's quite a bit older than me. Probably about 15 years older than me. I have no idea if he's still around. Queen h4 check. He should really go out to e5. I mean, after what's happened in this game, you know, you really need to go out to e5. But he resigned. No, Bob, that's not correct. But that's because ChessBase doesn't go back before 2003. That's like saying Maurice Ashley. You're making the same argument that Maurice Ashley never reached 2,500. I was 2460 something, Bob. You're just like making that same argument that the guy said that Maurice never reached 2,500. You can't like, you can't trust it. FIDE, like you have to have like you have to register on like the FIDE site. Well, then there's something wrong there, Bob. The ChessBase may be wrong. I was definitely 2460 something. But thank you for trying to find, you know, the negative side of everything. All right, Queen h4 check. Yeah, this resigns. Like the rating supplement before that one that you're talking about, I don't think I was ever 2445 either. I don't even think that's like a rating I ever had, actually. I think it was like 2444, if I remember correctly. I never recall having a rating of 2445, Bob. I don't think that's accurate. So anyway, back to the games. We've got S4. This is the next one. I would never lie. Or I know a lot of chess players who lie and exaggerate their ratings, but I would never do that. I have too much respect for myself, you know, and too much respect. Yeah, see, that's the lie. It says 2444, but that's not true. Your chess base is wrong. Okay, I was 2463 at least. 2463 or 2465. Chess base is simply wrong. There's another supplement that it doesn't have there. All right. Believe it or not, ChessBase is sometimes wrong. So this is, I played a friendly game, a friendly tournament set up on a beach. I was lucky enough to play even a game with the King's Gambit. All right. So let's see. So this is your favorite variation. E4, E5, F4, E takes F4, Knight F3, G5, H4. Bob, instead of ChessBase, probably you should go to FIDE. You know, they would know the ratings a little better. ChessBase is just a company that like sells databases, and you know, you should probably go to the source instead of ChessBase if you want to get accurate ratings. You want to go to the International Chess Federation rather than some company that just randomly sells equipment and chess programs and stuff like that. If you want like an accurate rating, you go to the FIDE ratings. H4, G4, Knight E5, Knight F6. I don't know this that well, Saul, but Bishop C4. I guess this is best by theory, according to theory. Now D5 apparently, and black played Queen E7. So Queen E7 is a move that obviously looks insane. Is this the game I was supposed to look at, by the way? No, it is a big deal to me, man. It's like my life was chess, and you're just trying to like troll me about my best achievement. But I'm proud of my best achievement, you know. So it is a big deal to me. It matters a lot. actually. I don't like when people try to take it away from me, you know. I think that I deserve to be credited with whatever I achieved, not have people like try to make it look smaller or something like that. Yeah. So FIDE has a 2463, but Bob just wants to try to troll me and make me feel bad or something. Like he's constantly doing that. All right, Queen E7. Yeah, Queen E7 is a weird move. Christian Meyer. I mean, Black launched into the whole thing. It looks like maybe D5, and then what's the idea? We block it with Bishop D6. Yeah, I would think this would be... I kind of like this for Black, actually. We have a correspondence game ongoing with... I have a correspondence game ongoing with Saul, and it's actually kind of accepted King's Gambit, but I think I'd rather have this than what happened in the game. So, let's just review again. Knight F3, G5, main line. H4, G4. Now, you can play Knight E5 or Knight G5, right? But Knight G5 is considered sort of dubious. So Knight E5 here, Bishop C4, and then Queen E7. Man, that's the move played in one game. Okay, it's a beach tournament. So Queen E7, D4. So you're supposed to take... I mean, this is Black's plan, though. Is this really good for White? Take and play D4. And the idea would be... What? Like, you bring the bishop back to B3 or something? Yeah, that's kind of cool. Neil Skinner said, I found myself lying about my age and rating, but only on very rare occasion. Man, I respect your honesty. I never lie about my rating, but I do lie about my age. I do lie about my age. I'm 39. I was saying that last year. So, this is maybe very deep prep by Soltigo, by Saul. I don't know. He doesn't take the pawn. That's cool. So play D4. Too greedy to take the pawn. You kind of like lose the initiative there. That's a nice call. Can Black play like D5 anyway? Then the knight is like forever on E5. So in the text game, these guys, these masters, played like probably like FIDE masters. Bishop G7 followed by castles kingside. Wait a second. If we play Bishop G7, are you possibly taking on F7 now? Arsenal says, one of my biggest regrets is not playing or joining a club when I was under 10. You're under 30 for that matter. No, you're still under 30. When you're under 20, under 10 is really early, you know. You wouldn't have your exciting, interesting personality if you started playing chess before 10. That we love here, Arsenal. You wouldn't be the same guy. Don't have any regrets. So Bishop G7 you can take on F7 check. And that's what happened in that game, and Black actually won. But it looks a little suspicious. This looks suspicious. We expect more from S4, so he plays this accurately. Plays D4. Now Black plays D6. And now you take on F7 check. Wow. It's kind of the same idea, right? Wow, it's like an improved version. So D6 is a really bad move? Or what? What's Black supposed to play? Bishop G7 is no good. Wow. Well, it's like forced. The man from Earth. Bishop takes F7 check. Wait. Logical? This is totally unknown, and it's actually relevant, theoretically, it seems. I mean, I guess Queen E7 is suspicious, right? So that's our only fault for Black's play. Now Bishop comes back, and that's like we got the discovered check, got E6, we're going to win a piece back. You think lichess rating is around 150, 200 points lower than FIDE? That sounds right. I was saying that like FIDE and USCF, it's about 75 points. You could say like another 100 points on top of that. So yeah, probably like around 175. Well, I mean, I think that on another subject, you're talking about, people, kids in England start under 10 and quit before 12. I think that all like countries like are getting kids into chess, but they don't follow through with like adults. I mean, this is a big problem with U.S. chess. I think they just don't, really do anything for adult players. They attract all these children to sign up, and then they just drop them later on. So bishop e6. Wonder how strong is this opponent here, Luca. Bishop takes f4. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. So s4 just went crazy. I mean, I never imagined castling now. That's pretty fancy. A takes B. Just opening up. So I guess his rejection for this would have been like d takes e5, d takes e5, knight d7, right? I mean, then we've got bishop g5. And maybe he just overlooked something dumb. Like he has that. I didn't see it at first. It's possible like a gross oversight made Saul think, okay. But I think more likely he just wanted to be like really fancy. So he just castled. And black defended well. Wow, bishop e6, bishop g5. Then there's another attack, right? And you're running out of ideas basically here. It's like Morphe. Wow. Ponda. h5 is crazy. I mean, you're going to go back to h4. So this is h5 anticipating h6, so you can maintain this pin. Meanwhile, black can walk away with king c8 at any time. I was thinking knight c3, but I guess h6 and that's it. No, you got knight g6 there. So the aforementioned king c8. Wow. So it's not enough. So h5 is like a brilliancy. God, man. What was the time control for this? This was just like a casual game? Man. 1200 plus 10. No, I don't regret not playing chess as a little kid either. I think I had a very normal upbringing. And I don't want to be like... I never wanted to be like some chess prodigy where that was my whole life. I mean, I'm glad I've got like a balanced life. So h5, an amazing move. Just to anticipate h6 and bring this bishop back to h4. Rook g8. I'd like to know more information about Saul's opponent here. How strong is this opponent? And what was the time control? Here you've got it listed at 1200 plus 10. 20 plus 10, okay. Wow, I mean, h5 is just an insane move, dude. Okay, I just clicked something. I don't know why, it just took me back in time. Welcome everyone to my subscriber stream, International Master William Paschall. We're just reviewing games here with our subscribers. This is S4. Black has to make a choice now. He played h6. And he wants to get the king away to c8. Hard to fall to h6, and he doesn't though. He leaves the king there. Lays knight on bd7. This is also interesting. Wait, is this prolonged initiative? So we're going to get the piece back. It feels like if we get the piece back, black's just too messed up. I mean, his king is in the middle of the board, and white's king is relatively normal here. So king c8, best move, and then we get our piece back. And okay, black has the bishop pair, which is a common theme, but that doesn't seem to compensate for the fact that black has a king in the middle of the board. His rook can't coordinate. He can't develop that piece normally. Black's coordination is just not really 100%. Bishop takes f6, no more sacrifices. Knight takes f6, so the smoke clears. The smoke clears. There's some problems with the h-pawn, but there's problems with black's king and black's rook on a8. So at the end of the day, I guess white is better. Like, that's a more long long-term serious problem. And also white's development might be a little bit better. Knight f4 holding your pawn. Knight c3 just developing. And now there's some issues. Queen e3 check, king h1, only move. And the engine's sort of seeing something here. This was actual game. So he played knight takes h5, and the engine says that bishop c4 is better. But I mean, you know, most people would have gone with this. The thing is, the bishop here, the knight is hanging, you know, so you got to do something. You got to find it out. Queen e1. This move seems to sacrifice what? The d4 pawn? We can't take that. Can we take on d4? Wow, knight e6 is pulverizing. Oh, man. Ouch. Apparently white is like winning here. Just like dropping the whole game. I guess it's simply a double attack. There's nothing else. This is hit. This is hit. And like you're just dead. That's amazing. Normally, okay, so black played knight takes h5 anyway. Saul doesn't like to trade queens. He likes to attack. Knight takes h5. And then knight to d5. That's going for forks on f6. But right here, I would think that you want to develop more with white. And I think this is one problem maybe with white, with Saul, you know, that he likes to attack. I would think queen e1, even though it trades queens, might be like white's best chance. Sometimes you got to be willing to trade queens. But after knight d5, he has queen g5 hanging on. This was a really well played game by both sides. Rook f5 with tactics based on knight e7. Fork, queen h4 check, king g1. What a game. Rook d8. Not quite sure I understand that move. But rook d8. Another computer move, but I guess just find a safe square. a5. Making luft, getting the rook in the game and creating a cubbyhole for the king on a7. That looks also good. Don't really like rook d8. c4 here. Again, Saul doesn't develop. So my instinct here is to develop. Queen e2. We've got 3 going on 4 pieces in the game. But you walk into rook e8 now. So it's hard to find a good square. Maybe d2. On d2 we're getting mated. No, this is a serious problem. Black's threatening g3. And we're actually getting mated by force. So we have to stop g3. Really important idea. He played c4. And now with this move, we're keeping the pressure on h5, so we can't play g3. Now he eliminates the dangerous bishop and wins a pawn in some lines. Now h5. So h5 is a blunder. Very natural move. But he's managed to be kind of ahead in development, white, and a safer king in a sense. Hard to find a move here. Wow, h5, queen e2, bishop f7, rook e1. Computer said you're winning there on rook f1, but I would never have even a clue. With this kind of move, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. d5. Black still can't play g3. Saul always submits like the craziest games. I would be terrified to play bishop takes c4 here. I would just try to find a move that gets my king to a safer position or something. He found it. Queen e7. Now black has no direct threat that I could see. There's no queen takes d8. And rook f4. Black plays queen g5, g3. Crazy game. This is very greedy. I mean, I wouldn't even consider this move for black. That's the #1 choice of the engine. Bishop takes a2. Like the only good move according to Stockfish. I don't think I would have even considered it. It just seems like extraneous and like wasting time. That's insane. Who is this guy? Bishop takes e2? Wow. It's a crazy game. b5, another brilliancy. So he can take another pawn. At this rate, I'm surprised he didn't take it. He was afraid of, like, what? Queen e8 check, king b8, queen takes... What's the deal? Queen e6 check? I have no idea. He's like walking out here. He could sack the exchange, and it would never be clear what's going on here. Apparently white's like totally winning. The danger of white coming down with this check, or this move, rook d7, but you're winning the queen on g5. Oh man, I'm spacing out. Okay. So this game's just lost me, man. You lost me. This was too complicated, dude. Don't submit any more games like this. I can't go over this game in 10 minutes. Too much. Alright. So d5 here. Bishop takes b5. Queen f7. a5, and that's a big threat that the passed pawn mobilizes. I know Slim, when the queen was hanging, I figured it out. I figured it out, man. Eventually. This position here, I was saying like bishop takes, okay. Bishop back here, d5. Bishop takes b5, queen f7, a5, rook e7 here. This is just insane, dude. And then the slow move, queen takes d6. Man, I'd like to see the analysis on this. How many center-pawn loss by both sides? Probably fairly low for a queen's gambit. And white wins. Can we get a computer analysis on this? It's going to take too long. We can't do that. Okay. Leave that for Saul. That's his study. Anyway, man, I mean, crazy game. But I had the feeling you had the initiative for a long time. Pretty much the whole endgame stage where you were like down a pawn or whatever. You just felt, it felt like you were outstripping him in development. You know, it was much harder for black to play. This is a typical kind of position that Saul gets. Let's go back even further to this position where he played like c4. This position where we're like down a pawn, but white has the active pieces and the black king isn't safe. This is the kind of position that he lives for. Mule Skinner says, what? I wonder if my game will be next. We got a long list. Yabadis, Soltigo, Nefrada, Mule Skinner. Mule Skinner, do you have to go? Because I can do your game first. We can try to do Mule Skinner's game first. Maybe he's got a run or something like that. We'll take a look. Alright, this coffee, man. I'm trying to stay awake, but it's been a long day. Okay, Mule Skinner. Game against the higher rated player. Mule Skinner versus Tengi. Mule Skinner loves close positions now. You got an opponent who's playing the French against a French defense player. I'm taking Mule Skinner out of order here in case he has to go. Tarash from Mule Skinner. I've actually played this against him. He knows it really well. I was having this discussion with move 11 the other day with knight f3. You know, the traditional move is always ED, but knight f3 is interesting. And then we were talking about this, like, how about taking? ED, knight takes, and then taking. You got to play this endgame, and this is actually doesn't seem like that bad for black at first sight. Queen takes, knight takes, some kind of endgame like this, but we looked at bishop f4, I guess. This is pretty promising. This is pretty promising. I mean, to play knight d6 check, so that's the answer to that. Ace, interesting sideline. So here, I guess, you're going to bring up the same position I saw recently with move 11. I thought we were looking at something almost identical to this. Is it possible to play c4? Was something I was thinking about. I guess we weren't looking at this. We were looking at like knight f6. But a6, it seems slow. I mean, it just seems like a6 is slow, so that should be like a signal that you should try to open the position. But with the knight on d2, it's not like real easy for you to play super aggressively. The knight's like blocking your bishop on c1. So I'm just throwing this out there as an idea. Yeah, this is what we looked at briefly. I think this is interesting. You see Navarra playing it twice. Navarra being such an aggressive player. You thought a6 was very passive. Yeah, it seems pretty durable. So we looked at bishop e2. This seems to be the main line. Obviously, you have to deal with like c4. And there was a cool idea the computer had, like b3, c3. This has never been played. But check this out. b3, c3, knight b1. I'm just wondering, was the knight on f6 already? In the line I was looking at. Like bishop d6 drops the pawn. I mean, maybe the line we were looking at, Black had already played knight f6. But I'm not sure. No, knight f6 here, because if you take on b4, maybe there's some danger. So castles. I'm saying, is this pawn somehow, you know, supportable on c3? Maybe not. Yeah, move 11. I was just saying, this does look familiar. So at this point, it's hard to say what white's best move is. I think we looked at queen e2 check, which I'm kind of unconvinced by. That seems very artificial. Alexander Ivanov played 2 games with this. That's the Ivanov move, but it doesn't seem right. You know, taking here also feels like a concession. Adams beat Mikhail Gurevich. I mean, this seems like, okay, straightforward way of playing it, but then knight b3, okay, the bishop's got a retreat square there on a7. Among other things, I mean, that's like almost like a good move. This might even be better, though. Ironically, you play a6, you think, okay, bishop a7. This might be a better square. You always wait for black to take the pawn and attack the bishop. That's the opening plan. Yeah, well, I don't know, you know. This is an interesting question, what the best move is here. You got Navarra's c4. You got the standard, like, bishop e2. You got the strange queen e2 from Ivanov. And then there's, like, the structural move d takes c5, which seems to help black develop. So by default, I guess I'm voting for like bishop d2, bishop e2. This is what you played. Okay, knight f6. Still not too late to play c4, try to open the position. That's not your style though, Mule Skinner. You like closed games. Castles. And now black has to move. Played h6. Man, that is a luxurious move, huh? The h6. He's playing it like a Tarrasch Queen's Gambit. Yeah, Adams played d takes c. That doesn't mean it's the best move, though. Rook e1. Good move. Bishop e6. This is his plan. It's just like the Tarrasch Queen's Gambit. And now I like this, Mule Skinner. You played c4. I mean, you waited and waited, but now you strike while, you know, black's king is still in the center of the board. I mean, this seems logical. You've got improved development, and this is even better than when Navarra played it. He tries to get away, but now what? You know, like any move you make kind of livens his pieces. I mean, I'm sure that you could play like b3, you know, and this would be like equal. But that doesn't feel very dynamic. But he's played well to keep your knight on d2. You know, he doesn't want your knight on d2 coming to a good square. This is counterintuitive, but maybe that's the move. I'm always saying how this is a bad square for the knights. But yeah, I mean, this definitely seems like the only active move. You know, the knight is misplaced on d2. And there's no time for something like the standard. Well, who knows? You know, even this move may not be that bad. But we're just dropping the pawn on c4. I don't think that's really sound to play knight f1. I like the idea of knight f1 going toward the side, but we can't just ignore what's going on in the position. So here, attack c5 and recaptures here. This move seems good. It might be better than exchanging. So c takes d5. Yeah, I feel like this is where you went wrong. Like, release the tension. Maybe you went slightly wrong here. Maybe not. I don't know. Alright. Usually releasing the tension is a problem. C takes d5. Hard to say which way he should take back. He can take back with either the bishop or the knight. You know, both seem okay. Bishop take. It's nice the way the bishop dominates that knight, and it seems so good there, and it's also difficult to attack it. That's why bishop takes seems... It's just like, it's going to take you 2 moves. Knight c4, knight e3 to attack that bishop, or knight f1, knight e3. If you could guess what was the total cost, the dollar cost of me becoming an IM, travel costs. But forgetting like abandoning my college education. No, I didn't do that, but abandoning like furthering my education, and we're talking about millions of dollars. Chess Fund 27. The cost of me becoming an IM, foregoing like other careers where I could have probably made millions of dollars. At least over like a period of many years. I'm not saying like I'm a business genius or something. I'm sure I could have done something lucrative. Knight takes d5, d takes c5. The cost is massive. It's worth every bit. No, I don't know. I don't think so. It's the yeah. I'm looking for the economic term, but I can't find it. So this was actually kind of cool. You went there to b3, but also e4. At this juncture, you have like also e4 that looks good. Probably more than the fee the EU gave Google today. Good joke. You can still become a pro poker player. Poker is really tough. It was cool when it was really like a huge trend, but it's not anymore. Poker was cool when it like everybody was playing poker. Like every person on the street watched like poker on TV. I mean, that's when poker was really, really lucrative. Everyone was into it, you know. Bishop d2, castles, rook c1. Yeah, so your advantage kind of dwindled here, and we want to know what happened. Knight e4 would have been maybe similar. I mean, he still plays bishop e4, right? But here your knight is better. Your knight has like good options to go to d6, go to c5. Yeah. Poker and chess are both hard ways to make a living. It would have been better to stay in the mainstream. Not as fun. I never really wanted to be like, I always wanted to just kind of be my own boss though, so I never really wanted to work in a traditional role. Okay. D takes c5, bishop takes c5, knight b3. This looks like it's a slight concession. Bishop d2, now it's symmetrical. He's catching up in development. Rook c1, knight c6. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that black isn't about equal here. And Muleskinner's structure, it's total symmetry. I mean, how can you really be better here? Even Karpov. But this move I don't really understand, exchanging on b4. It looks kind of dangerous to bring a knight to b4. I don't think I'd want to do that. Maybe a3 is bad because this is loose. I don't know what I would do with white here. I really don't know. I'd be concerned my advantage is gone. I'm scared of playing this. But maybe it's just a ghost. You know, you take here, and there's nothing on that knight on b3. It's just basically equal. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should enter chess, you know, if your goal is to make money. I mean, that's definitely wasn't my plan, you know. Chess is not the thing to do if your priority is earning money. We all have different priorities. So Mule Skinner lost his edge. Knight c5 now. Grabbing this pawn on a2 was not done. Complicated though. I mean, knight takes a2. What are we worried about? Knight takes e6. I'm surprised Black didn't play this though. I mean, you got to have the rook, and then you didn't even have time to take on e6. Now he just goes back. Still, it's probably equal. But I would have tried it. You know, knight takes a2. Instead he played bishop c8. That's just passive. Now he's just passive here. I mean, that was a waste of time. He just utterly wasted time. Black that is. Bishop c4 now. It's a tactic, just taking on a6. Man, was this time pressure? Yeah, he's down to 2 minutes. 2:59 to be exact. Yeah, this is Mule Skinner's only weakness, is that he does get into time pressure. But knight takes a6, you definitely shouldn't miss that. Alright, bishop c4, knight f6, and then h3. Just trying to play solidly. Wow, knight e5, very aggressive. I expected knight takes d4. But it's almost at equal. Okay, you can put a rook on the 7th, though. I mean, this is something here, Mule Skinner. You play rook e7. No? This is nothing? Well, so much for that. The computer doesn't believe it. So apparently this is the best, just taking over the file. If he plays rook f8, rook takes d4, and then you get on the 7. Now it's more real. Yeah, that's the way to go. So this actually looks pretty good. But instead you ignored the knight there. Play knight e5, very tempting move. More complicated. a5, defending his pawn. And then knight g6. So we're going to play knight e7 check, maybe grab... oh. I was expecting you to play the check now, and maybe go for the bishop pair by grabbing that bishop on c8. In the endgame, you know, you could be a little bit better. He has a very strong knight on d4, though. So here, and then knight takes e6. This is nothing. This is just a draw. So you got to look for something better. But this is just equal now. This should be a draw. Absolutely. Okay, there's not a lot of room for mistakes in endgames. Rook and knight endgames with equal pawns. We can't drop a pawn. Both sides have to play accurately here. Now it's really got to be drawn. That's one less pawn on the board. This is a strange move by Mule Skinner, rook a1. There's no way I'm playing rook a1. It looks insanely passive. You just cannot put your rook on that square. I mean, if you have to defend your rook, you put it on e3. You don't want your rook... Yeah, you want your rook behind passed pawns, but it's not a passed pawn. Probably it's not that bad, but the problem is if you play a4, he's going to play b4. His pawn's going to be very, very far advanced, you know, and I don't know if you're even going to have time to push your a pawn. This is awkward at best. And now you're going to have to sacrifice the pawn and draw like a pawn down. So a4. Oh, you didn't play it. I mean, I thought a4 here was the plan. Because your pawn is fast, and this is a draw, you know. 3 against 2 on the same side should really be a draw if you play accurately. But you didn't do that. I mean, you need to trade off your a-pawn. Knight takes f2, knight e5. And if you don't trade the a-pawn, you could lose for real. There it is, a4, okay. So you hesitated a little bit. I mean, b4 looks like it's... you know, something that could happen. b4, what's going on? b4, a5, his pawn, your pawn is pretty fast. But he's got rook a3, man. Look out. He doesn't, it's too slow. I was thinking, okay, rook a2. So a4, b3, and rook a2. This is the danger. You have to be really, really accurate or you lose now. That's super tough. Apparently you're holding, but you have to find perfect moves. Knight d3, rook a2, rook b1, which is scary. I think you hesitated with the a4 for one move too long there. You need to do that as fast as possible. Don't give him any second chances. Luckily, okay, this is a draw. Still, he can beat you, you know, of course. But it feels like 3 against 2. Obviously, if it's a rook and it's a dead draw. With bishops on, I mean, there are ways you can lose, but there really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be lost. If you can force the rook endgame, you're golden here. Yeah. So you can't avoid it now. This is just a draw. I don't like king h2. I'd rather king in the center than on h2. And this is also passive. There's no reason to play passively, Mule Skinner. Stay as active as possible. King on f2, rook as active as possible. Inherently passive move. Now g4, h4 stays complicated. You see, you're drifting passive, and if he fixes this structure, you want to stay active. This is bad. You know, you want maximum checking distance. So the rook should go to a2. No other square. You know, you don't want the rook closer. It gets attacked by the king. Maximum distance. Now h4. Now it's a theoretical draw. Okay. Now you can do this. You fix the structure, and it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. I mean, this may be a mistake as well. So you should play rook here, or rook here. Probably rook d6 because you stay on his pawn and you keep his king cut off. I would play this. I don't think he can make progress here. This is done. Is there any way you can mess this up? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible. Now his king is crossing over. Straight into a lost king and pawn endgame. Whoa. I mean, if you play rook d6 or rook d8. Rook d6, the problem is rook e6. And now he's got this stupid king coming into g4. So you have to continue to play very accurately, like rook d4, staying on his pawn, king g4, and you're actually kind of close to losing now. But it looks like it's hard for him to make progress. Yeah, you basically have to drop the pawn. Let's say rook f6 and g3. Hanging on by a thread. Kind of a funny position. Now he's like paralyzed. So there's nothing you can do. That was tragic. I mean, you traded the rooks there. Never ever let that happen. You cannot trade rooks. Even if it means you lose another pawn. I mean, you got to play this. You got to play this on. I mean, you got to keep the rooks on here. This is maybe a hallucination. I don't know. Looks like just lost. Yeah. So that was a very, very sad end to a decent game. I mean, there's absolutely no reason to lose that. You were never losing until literally like the last 5 moves. All right, so let's move on, guys. Anyway, please support the stream. We can make donations via PayPal here on Twitch or on YouTube. Also, check out my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Okay, guys, this is just a subscriber stream where I'm going over like games from my subscribers. So I'm not going to go outside of that today. We don't have a lot of time. We've got a lot of submitted games. Also, sorry for not answering all the questions. I just, you know, get really involved in analyzing the games, so I can't possibly like read all the comments. I just try to pick and choose some I can find along the way. So we got Asterbait, JCS, S4, and we did Mule Skinner. Now I want to go back down the list in order. I've got move 11. What time is it now? It is 6 p.m. So I'm streaming till 7. Got another hour left. Well, X1 Horse 1 donated 200 bits. That's awesome. No, it's not bedtime. I just eat really late. So it's dinner time. I actually have to cook. Can you take a look at the game I sent a few weeks ago? Arsenal, if we have time, but it's really like a late submission. Do you, do you want to submit that back to me? I mean, is it in my email? If I still have it in the list, I can find it. Alright guys, I'm going to try to go through these games a little bit faster. I've been taking pretty much time. So it's like 10 minutes a game at most. So this is the Monday Open. Move 11, I guess, playing at the Marshall Chess Club. 90 plus 30. He's black. His opponent is rated 2095. Okay. So move 11 playing c4 e6. Going for the Queen's Gambit, I guess. And his opponent played e3. We're against the Slav, I think this is a really good system. But against e6, e3 is kind of passive. It's okay. It's okay. You can play a sort of Reti with e3. Knight c3, bishop e7, bishop e2. So this is just extremely passive, whatever white is doing here. I mean, I would imagine, in particular, like d4. If you want to play with the pawn on e3, you should probably play d4 and at least put the bishop on d3. This is passive. Bishop e2. I mean, it's still okay. Black has a lot of different ways to play this. Castles, kingside. D takes c would transpose to a decent kind of Queen's Gambit accepted, I guess. You could also just play c6, but that would transpose. Be careful, because that transposes to like a bad semi-Slav for black with the bishop on the wrong square on e7. So you don't really want to play c6. He plays c5. So c5, now white exchanges, and move plays the safer move here. Knight takes, trying to exchange pieces, probably like a semi-Tarash. It's sort of unbelievable that there's no games in the database in the opening explorer here. That's just weird. I mean, this is such an easy position to reach. We've got to transpose to something now. One game. János, it's a Hungarian János. Probably a Hungarian Austria or something. Playing Herbert Wimmer. Austro-Hungarian Empire. Representatives are not here today. Clash Kid we haven't seen in a while. Got a challenge. I'm not going to take that, guys, because I'm just going over games. And then move 11 traded. No, he didn't do it. Sorry, I submitted that by accident. Knight c6. And it's now getting closer to kind of normal semi-Tarash territory. White's playing this like in this game, Queen c2, like a Sicilian reversed. This is actually, now that you think about it, when you start to think about it, you actually got like a symmetrical English here, effectively. That's what the opening is now. It's a semi-Tarash of d4, but if white doesn't play d4, then it becomes a symmetrical English. Queen b3. It's not a bad move, probably. But I like b6 because we want to get that bishop to the best possible diagonal. I think that move 11 wasn't maybe unsure about knight takes d5 or something. So he didn't know how to really think about this, but I think this is okay for black. I don't see any problem here. Instead he played knight b6, which is, it's either very aggressive, like avoiding pieces being exchanged, or just a bad move. Retreating the knight from the center with loss of time. Yeah, I mean, this would be the kind of move you would make if you didn't have a pawn on e6, maybe. But you do, It's also kind of a strange move, I think, to play against a higher rated player. Here, if move 11 is 1865, his opponent is 2095. You got to be faithful to your style, but I mean, if nothing else, like knight takes c3 is equal. Like this is like a good Grunfeld type of structure for black. Okay, we haven't played g6, but whatever, semi-Tarash. It's totally fine for black. I mean, b6, and it's equal. I had nothing to fear there. My biggest problem is this bishop on c8, and actually knight b6 kind of complicates things because now we no longer have that available. So knight b6 I don't like. He plays passively though. Yeah, d4 is better. He plays d3. Botvinnik here. Matt turns Botvinnik, and it's a good idea. This position just transformed in one move. Actually, what this guy is doing, I play with black against in the black side of symmetrical English. Take care, S4. Thanks for joining us here, guys. Thank you for the bit donation from X1 Horse One. But it's funny how this position transposed now. Matt is basically playing the white side of a symmetrical English instead of a black side. After he played e6, e5. Right. No, but I mean, the point is, I played the same position. The point is that d4 is a good move. You know, that's the problem. I think that you've got these queen's gambit accepted type of ideas. He was afraid he loses a pawn, but I'm not sure that's so simple. I mean, maybe rook d1 is an idea for starters. Then I guess e5 is not so. Maybe you're right. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. So he has to full-on sacrifice the pawn. Wow. Very good compensation. But that's definitely the most like active way he can play. All right. I mean, the knight b6 I'm criticizing, but I wonder. The d4 I like it. I still can't believe we can't do this. That's a hard pawn sack to find. I mean, it's something that I've done many times in reverse to this position, but actually it would be a slightly different position maybe. Sometimes this pawn is on g6 instead of on e6. d4. Okay, so he's passive. d3 here. Yeah, now what's the best plan for white? Yeah, he's basically playing a hedgehog. Bring the queen back to c2. Maybe even b3, knight b1, knight d2, rerouting. This is nothing more than a standard hedgehog. Bishop b6, queen c2. Now here f5 was really aggro, but I kind of like rook c8 better because you got these immediate knight d4 kind of sacrifices. I feel like this move is... The rook c8 is a little more incisive. f5 we can play, but let's put some pressure on him, you know, with tactical threats immediately with knight to d4. Alright, f5. Rook f d1. This is awkward for white already. I could see how white lost this game. b4, another very dynamic move according to the engine, but he's playing like normal moves. This was nice. I think move 11's been hanging out with Bombist. Bombist likes to do this kind of stuff with black. Now knight d2 basically forced. Yeah, and f4. It's nice though that his bishop protects f2. So f4 is not that obvious. You know, you play f4, you're thinking, okay, but what am I threatening? I guess you're threatening to take twice and play bishop g5, which is actually quite serious. So in that event, like bishop f3, what's next? Not that clear. So f4 is inflexible, hard move to play. Matt plays rook c8. Here, this is just unnecessarily passive. I've done stuff like this. But he's in an awkward hedgehog now. He needs to play very carefully. Rook c1, queen b1. Actually, you're threatening knight d4 right away. I don't know. I would be tempted to play this, maybe. Maybe queen b1. Black has the initiative big time. Yeah, this is nice. He played bishop f1, played a6. Where to go from here? Well, why not knight d4? I guess knight d4 just doesn't really do anything. What do we got? Bishop f1. Yeah, there's no more bishop on e2, so it doesn't really do anything. We could play this just for sport, but he'll just like play queen b1, and then we have to just trade pieces with knight b3 or go back. So hard to find an attacking plan. You played a6. All right, a very good game so far. Rook c1, f4. Wow. Nice job. That's like a computer move. However, here he doesn't have bishop f3. Krennic versus Botvinnik, exactly. Botvinnik is loving this space here in this Marazzi. It's like Lilienthal versus Botvinnik. Man, nice job, move 11. F4, bishop e2, bishop g5. This is a probing move. He takes. So basically, what are you doing on knight e4? Was this a bluff? No, you got this. Oh no. Wait a second. If he plays knight e4, you have fe. Can he take on g5? Takes, check. Oh no. This is just really, really dubious. Check, check here. Man, white is just dead. Knight d4. Very, very scary for white. Queen d2. What is he losing? The exchange? Yeah, this is bad. It's amazing how well you did this. I mean, considering I don't recall you ever playing this kind of position, really. Maybe with white. Very good adaptation by move 11. Now there's knight d4, right? Nice. Man, this is a crush. And I'm not talking about arena. This is beautiful. It's like a bombist game. And then f3. Wow. It's like suicidal weakening of the dark squares. But dude, what do you want him to play? He's lost in any case. Very, very nice game by move 11. And then you let him out of the bag. Could have just maintained the pressure. So you won the exchange. The engine wants to find more, but it's not easy. You know, it's going for mate. Very primitive stuff. Ponda. Ponda would like this. Hey, what's up, guys? I like the primitive. Ponda. I like the primitive attack. Huh. What's up? Okay. Nice job. But look for the rook. The rook lift, like a stonewall attack. You had no time at this point. Ouch. Take the easy material then. I agree. Win the exchange. This actually didn't win the exchange. I thought you were winning the exchange for sure. Wow. But you are, okay. Knight takes d2 here. Oh. And you don't take the rook. What? Wait. Whoa. Okay, I'm not understanding this point. Here at this point you play queen h5. Okay, why not threaten mate? Alright. I agree. Here, it's not actually mate, but it's close enough. And now you take the exchange, eventually. Here. Now we just need some good technique. Up a clear exchange. A little hard to break through. And you dropped an exchange back? Not exactly. You got this, here, this, probing, this, back. Rook c2. I hope your opponent was in time pressure as well. Man, he didn't deserve to have a chance here. Now it's under control. Everything's under control. You're consolidated. It's still really hard to break through with no open lines through the rooks. Trade. That's awkward to have to protect that pawn with the queen. Oh, man. What happened there? It's a miracle you got the c-file. Queen a3, a5. This is like panic mode, but hard to find a good move. Man, that's really awkward. You have to play rook a8 probably. And you just melted. Dropped an exchange here. Oh no. So, you missed that you could do this inner position. I can't believe if you lost this game. He dropped his queen. Oh my god. You both had 5 minutes left with a 30-second increment. He drops his queen. And you had just blundered. Oh man, isn't the time control awesome? Wow. No, I mean, he had actually saved himself. That's insane. And you played the wrong move here. Like, you should take this pawn. And, man, amazingly, you took the bishop here. So right now he has a double attack. Queen c3 on e5 on this. Knight d5, he dropped the e5 pawn. Just can't keep everything protected. And white's better. So that's a fortunate finish, but I like the way, you know, you achieved a really good position. Good job. Arsenal fan, again, I don't know if we're going to get to all those games. I'm going to get to as many as I can. Ubatis is next. Where's Jubatis? Jubatis. Jubatis. I played this game yesterday. I did blunder a piece, but the play after that is somewhat interesting. Okay. So let me close these other windows out. Jubatis is one of our subscribers. He is Spectacular Camel. It was a really well played game, but it was destroyed by the mutual time pressure. Move 11's opponent just dropped the whole queen. I mean, that's crazy. With a 5-minute remaining. I mean, that's an insane drop for a 2100. Yeah, I had this game against Jared Bryan once. The guy did this. I was like, dude, and I lost. This is the only game I ever lost to this guy. He's like a FIDE master, but I played him like 5 times. I think I beat him maybe 3, and I had a draw and lost 1. This was the one I lost. But it was like game 45, and I had this insanely good position, but somehow I just messed it up. So there's also, if I remember correctly, Mihai Suba goes over this position in his game with this guy, Parik Stefanov, and Suba does an interesting thing. He doesn't attack the queen, and Jubatis does it too at first. So c takes d5, queen takes d5, knight f3. Obviously, I don't remember what Stefanov played. Stefanov, I think, played bishop g4 here. Suba, I don't remember if he said it was bad, what his comment was, but you know, it's much more normal to do something like here, you know. But Suba's treatment was interesting. He didn't chase the black queen. He just played like something like bishop g2, and then in fact played d3 and didn't even attack the queen on d5. The idea being an interesting one, that I think he actually played knight a3 and knight c4. I don't remember, but an interesting way of thinking outside the box. Like, we ought to always automatically just attack the queen because you can, you know. But maybe the queen is actually a target there due to the bishop on g2. So, in fact, are we chasing the queen out of its target position on d5 by playing knight c3? And Suba likes, you know, he likes the path of this knight, like coming to e3. He likes the fact that the knight on c3 can block our, you know, he doesn't like the fact that the knight on c3 can block our play along the c-file in the Sicilian. McIntyre just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for that. For subscribing. So that's the question. Interesting idea outside the box. I think the computer will say also like knight c3 as soon as possible. But there's an interesting and a creative way of playing, you know, thinking like we don't have to attack the queen just because we can, you know. It's actually in a highly exposed position. So this is the different game. Knight c6. You could try the same approach there, not playing knight c3. Black plays queen d8. I have no recollection of what happened in my game with Jared Bryan. You know, he might have done something completely insane here. I don't remember. I don't think you could play e4 drops a pawn, so Jared Bryan definitely probably played knight c6. Definitely, probably. How I lost this game, I don't remember. Okay, so queen d8. You know, look at the score here. It's just ridiculous. Like, white wins almost every game. Gary Fang. I mean, one move we can think about omitting is d3. The question is e4 a threat? And maybe it is. Another Suba idea is like encouraging e4. It's not a threat yet. So let's play bishop g2. Because Jubatis, we might be able to play d4 in one go in some dynamic situation. Probably not, but I don't see why we have to play d3 first. Yeah, oddly enough, it's not as bad as it seems for black. Bishop g2. And this move feels a little bit too aggressive. Bishop e7 was more safe. Castles. And then we've got a Hungarian. I am here, Shandor Farago, who I've played many times. Getting this position. Who knows what move order this was played by. Now h6 makes sense. Shandor wants to prevent bishop g5. Keep pieces on the board. And what happened? Wait a second. You just did what? My name is what? Just lost a piece with that move. Knight takes e5. That is not a sacrifice. That is the loss of a piece. This cannot be termed a sacrifice. Maybe you said drop the piece. I forget. I think he just forgot that black was on this twice. This d4 twice. He missed the d4 wasn't possible. Exactly. So somehow he doesn't lose this. No fear. Yeah, that's weird. I would unpin myself, you know. Let's play h6, man. And c6 is a good move. But this move, dropping b7, it's almost like he's trying to sucker white into taking this, playing rook b8, and then like when he retreats the bishop, playing bishop takes f2. So Yabata is just down a piece here. After h6, you're facing a very tough decision. I probably would play bishop d2 and not trade pieces if you want to be objective. But you are getting a pawn. All right, let's take it. Let's take the pawn. Take the pawn. Now you've got 2 pawns in your collection for a piece, which is something. A very conservative retreating move. Rook d1. And now, like, yeah, your pawns can start moving forward with e3, d4. d4 immediately, good, heads up. And that's with tempo. These pawns are coming with tempo. Lots of pawns. We got a nice center going on, but if you play e4, it looks like black can take this. This is a problem. So he can't play e4 without losing his d4 pawn. He can, however, play d5. Just hangs out. Knight h7. Ew. g4 looks bad. He's just trying to set up like winning a piece, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't seem forcing. I don't know. g4 is kind of a cheapo. Trying to play d5, and even that allows queen d6 check. So I don't think it's even a cheapo. I don't think it even works. f5, really trying to kill you. d5 here. And that's the point. He just gets away. So all you've really done is like weakened your own king side with this g4. g4 is bad. You're doubly lucky if you didn't lose this game after g4. I mean, not only did you drop a piece, but you played a reckless weakening, you know, on the king side that probably should have been fatal. Queen b3 now. I don't know. Maybe bishop here. The computer's coming up with sick ideas like knight g5, knight here. You know, that's evil. Knight g5, bishop takes f5, knight f3. And it's like, just forget about it. You have to walk out with the king. Man, good luck. Now black is... Oh my gosh. Got the fork here. That's just vicious. Totally over. That's hard to find, to say the least. Obviously, Yabata saw that. You know, that's why he didn't play bishop e4. And then knight b5. He just moves. This guy's pretty good, man. He's going to kill you with queen h5 next. d6 check, one last try. King h8. Takes this. That's a bit irritating. This is where black started to question his understanding of reality. There's some crazy computer move here. Bishop takes h3. That's just not human, you know. So black played a human move. Rook takes. And then went for the material greed. Greed is good. Bishop e2. So this is apparently crushing white's king side. Wow. You got the queening square covered with black. I mean, Yabata's opponent. So this is just such an illustration of absolute greed. The object is not mate. The object is to win as much material as we can with bishop c2. Why is it not human? Because your rook is hanging, you know. Bishop takes h3 isn't clear. It's just taking a pawn. I mean, he doesn't have a mate. He doesn't have a clear win on that move, you know. You still have to calculate a lot more. Meanwhile, we're making a new queen on d8. You know, that seems like kind of an important thing to consider. He has to calculate like a computer here. A long sequence of moves, which is not that easy. You know, bishop takes g2, king takes g2, knight here, check, king. Yeah, this is over now. So I don't think that it's that easy. You know, to some people it depends on the player, but most people are afraid when you're gonna like promote a new queen. Rook takes d1, rook takes d1, bishop c2. Yeah, that's just materialistic. And now you played this. You missed queen a3. Queen a3 is, I was thinking here, because that's a lot of stuff. Attacking a8, f8 with the actual backup of rook d8. Maybe unfortunately you don't have like queen takes f8, queen takes f8, rook d8, because he's got take, bishop takes d8 at the end. This is weird, actually. So material here, we're still down a piece. What is going on? Like rook g8, rook d8? White is still down a piece here. He's got 3 pawns for it, though. Is it 4 pawns? 3. So he just has 3 pawns for a piece. The pawns become more valuable in the endgame. This is like no exception. We're getting closer to an endgame. Ubatis played this, and the position just got really weird. Now he has just 2 pawns for a piece. Shouldn't be enough. It was a very chaotic game, but there's no way that black shouldn't win now. He takes h3. Oops. Okay, what am I missing? What am I missing here? He didn't play the capture on h3, but now he's playing it. Well, apparently you just got fancy. I mean, black just got fancy with bishop, knight takes h3. He's up a piece here. He gets fancy with this capture, and now it's like unclear. And then white plays knight f7 check, and white is up pawns. So that was weird. It was just kind of weird. He just gave you back a piece, and suddenly you're just up pawns. A little bit of scariness around the white king. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for that. Anyway, it gets to a final position that's kind of fun. This is basically like white to play and win. Queen h5 check. This is kind of cute. Bishop d5 and mate. That's a nice finish. Alright, next game is Soltigo. Soltigo. Our faithful moderator here on the stream. Where is your game? There it is. Soltigo says, no, you don't like engine games, but I felt understanding mistakes from this one could be instructional. Plus, my king has a nice little entertaining walk. Alright. It's only 40 moves. Let's take a look. This is Soltigo versus AI level 7, which is pretty tough. ID Bart, thank you so much. Donated 200 bits to the stream. Bit donation champion for the week. Guys, tomorrow we have a fast blitz stream in the morning. It's 10 a.m. on Fridays, okay, just to kind of mix it up so the European players can get to watch the stream more often. So that's why it's 10 a.m. Friday. We're playing fast blitz, basically fast for my standards, which is 5 plus 3. I'm 39, as always, and I'm getting old, and, you know, 5-3 is fast enough. So, alright. Soltigo here with white. He's playing against the AI. I can't really play computers anymore. He's playing his special gambit. He likes to play this knight f6, d4. This stuff. He has it all figured out. Very dangerous gambit. So the AI played c6 against him. Now, this is funny because I remember a friend of mine played the bishop's opening, and the guy... no, you know what? I'm misremembering this. I think my friend was playing black. His opponent played the bishop's opening, and he did this by mistake, and he got massacred. So I was under the impression that c6 was inaccurate for black, but it looks like it's not so bad based on the statistics. Obviously, it's the same guy as last time. So c6, knight f3, but we're not going to pay attention. Knight f3 now. Is that the best move here? Good question what white's best move is here. Look at all these different candidate moves. Bishop e3, queen e2, knight c3, d4, knight f3. Man, I swear that the dude played like queen h5 against my friend. Vladimir Kostic. There was a famous Serbian grandmaster named Kostic, but that was a different Kostic. So this is how my friend got massacred. The guy, I remember, played this and he just assumed his position was bad. But it's funny when you look at this. Black could sack a pawn here, but how to do it? You know, you can't play knight f6. Maybe you can't sack a pawn. You're getting mated, so... I mean, this is a nice pawn sack, but you get mated in one. That's kind of... That would be a funny blunder. Because if it was a question of this would be a great gambit, man. This would be like massive compensation. So apparently black can play queen e7 and it's not bad. But it reminds me of Hikaru, you know, Hikaru's opening, the e4, e5, queen h5. Yeah. But it's like you think, okay, the queen is misplaced here, but maybe it's not so bad. You could play something like g6 and bishop g7 maybe. Kind of King's Indian. All right. So Soltigo, I'm trying to pronounce words. Just plays knight f3. I mean, there must be theory on this. It's a positional opening. Pawn takes pawn. Man, it looks like black's traded all that development. Black's traded all that development for the center. Bishop check here. And this looks like it drops a pawn. So this is artificial, you know, intelligence level 7. I mean, it makes mistakes, basically. Yeah, doing the best you can. So, Volakin won convincingly. Bishop d6 here. Interesting pawn sacrifice. So the computer forces Soltigo to play like a pawn grabbing type of line, where the engine is the one taking initiative. Kind of playing Soltigo style. Bishop d6. And then knight d7, bishop takes. So, what's the evaluation here? We got a bit of development for a pawn. Not so bad. But you still got to believe in white. If this was like artificial intelligence against artificial intelligence, I've got to believe that white would win a significant amount of games. Is queen e2 playable? What? After bishop d6? Yeah, sure, it's playable. Black has to develop. Maybe knight e7. You know, not to trade queens, I would think. It's not clear if the queen is a good thing or a bad thing on e2, Arsenal fan. It's a way of playing. You know, it may end up may not end up being good. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, National Potsar. Thanks for subscribing, by the way. Yeah, we do the reviews every Thursday. It's like I call it subscriber stream. So next week, I won't be having the stream. But 2 weeks, next week I'm going to be away Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I haven't announced it yet because it's fairly early. But so you guys know, going on vacation for 3 days next week. There will not be streams next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Even Soltigo doesn't know about it yet, but that's what's up. But the following week we'll have the subscriber stream again on Thursday. So that's an interesting suggestion, Arsenal fan. Queen e2 is definitely a move right away. Soltigo did something similar, but later. Yeah, I don't know about this. You know, I don't think that Queen e2 really benefits us here. Soltigo has this hang-up about not castling, but I think here it's to his detriment. You know, I mean, at this point, I don't see how the queen is going to be beneficial on e2. I think you should just castle. Because this queen is going to end up being exposed, I think, maybe possibly losing a tempo or something like that. It reminds me of the Marshall Gambit. White's up a pawn, but his pawns are kind of on the bad. Reminds me of the Marshall Gambit where white plays bishop takes d5, actually, to be concrete. You know, you're giving up the bishop on d5, you lose your white squared bishop. You're down, you're up a pawn, but your pawns are all in the wrong color. Black has a very solid control of the center, a very solid d5 pawn. And there's still even attacking chances for black as the white king side. So I think he has a significant amount of material, rather compensation. Bishop e3 is weird. I don't know. You just got a castle, man. Why are you so allergic to castling king side? Now rook f8, and now, yeah, man, you're not castling at all. It's dangerous. Black took it easy on you here, not playing knight f5. g6 is a nice slow move, letting you stay in the game. And now knight f5. Now he queenside castled, which is crazy. Stockfish says it's the best move. Well, maybe too late, you know, to castle the other way. Are we already facing a strong attack here? What's up? If castle's kingside, bishop f4. So that's going to at least lose the pawn back with black having the initiative. There is a concrete problem with castling kingside now, apparently. So, you know, you could play knight f1, but that's just, like, really gross. Castling queenside, this looks crazy. Very dangerous. Computer just played a simple line here. Knight takes, pawn takes. Simplifying the game. I mean, the king might not be in such bad shape now. With more pieces traded off, we might be able to survive. Knight f1 was a tough move to play because it blocks all the rooks up. But he might be hanging on. Rook e4. Get out of the pin, man. I would automatically play king b1. I don't know how you can not play king b1 here. Alright, rook d3. This move is an atrocity. I think. You know, I mean, that's just a very strange place to put a rook. Actually, the computer likes it. I would sooner lose this pawn than put my rook on d3. Very rarely have I played a move like that when I'm in time pressure, but I hate the position of this. You know? Of course, it's better not to lose the pawn if it's possible. Wow, you played h4. Where's the pawn to... This move was an atrocity. It's like one of the best moves according to the engine. I don't care. I wouldn't play it. Hey, where am I? Oh. Nice move with the h4. Oh. Yeah. No. Alright, we can't do that. That was terrible.
For the last time, no.
No, I liked it. It was yes. Anyway. So, Ponda likes at h4. Man, but I don't know here. Where am I? Did I go in the wrong mode? Okay. Bishop h6, man. h4, best move. That's two moves in a row Soltigo used the engine. First, he used an engine to play rook d3. Obviously. You know, this is like the #1 move of the computer. I would never play that move in a million years. I'm just saying this. I hope you guys realize. I'm just saying this, like, you know, with a grain of salt. But then the computer is like, h4, I'm making fun of him. It's like the best move, according to the engine. Because you're in this terminal pin here. You know, I just can't wait to get out of the pin. But Soltigo is like attacking with h4. So Soltigo 2, very unorthodox moves. Leaving yourself in the pin. Now a3, that's a bad move. Why can you not play king b1? I wanted to play king b1 like 6 moves ago. He doesn't do prophylaxis. You know, I think he just doesn't do prophylaxis. a3. Alright. Oh no. Well, you gotta clip this one, and yeah, you just clip this segment of the video where I like just have to cover my eyes. But a3, king d2. You see, we see a player here who's not been trained classically. You know, Soltigo is a very original player, and he's kind of fearless, but look what he's created there. Frankenstein's monster on d3. I mean, come on now. How are you going to play with the rook on d3 with your king on d2? I just can't see it. You can't do that. And I'm just busting on you with the best in mind. I mean, I'm really trying to help you to improve, but this is a crazy, crazy plan. Now he plays king e1. What possessed you to bring the king over to the king side now? He's crazy. Now he plays king f2. Why not just castle in the first place? Here's a man who likes to make things hard for himself. He castled queenside so he could walk his king over to the other side of the board, and it would be a funny video for us to watch. King g1. Now I think king g1 was thoughtful. Like, he probably wants to be able to lift his rook up. You know, that was kind of, rather than king g2. Standard. No, he plays king h2. So it didn't really matter. Black's pressure, man. How the computer... This is very like AI style. It just doesn't cash in on the material. It just keeps pressurizing, improving its position. It's not materialistic. Still, it doesn't take the pawn. Minority attack. Beautiful play by the computer here, though. Like, really nice play. Like Karpov. It's like a boa constrictor. Now it decides to take, finally. And somehow Soltigo is still alive after this insane journey with his king. Out of his mind. He's not down any material yet. But this move may be decisive. You cannot lose that c-pawn for nothing, right? There is no easy way out of this, though. There is no easy way out. I don't know. Maybe I would take on b4. Here. It's just going to be ugly. Rook f2. This thing is too strong. Paralyzed. It's a nice example of, like, you know, principle of two weaknesses. Snaps the pawn. Actually, he doesn't snap the pawn because he's... Why doesn't he snap this pawn, actually? Maybe it's being level 7 rather than level 8. Is why it's not taking this pawn is level 7. It's making like the third best move here. Letting you survive. So we've got the standard minority attack, weak king. Ooh, this is awful. Hard to hold this. Man, this is a torturous position. Rook e2 check. Now it's not taking it easy on you anymore. And the pawn takes. Oh, it doesn't do it. It just doesn't do it. I mean, is there some draw here if you take on c4? d5 is not clear. Black's better, but it's not clear. It's like a race on d5. Man. Oh, so this is actually not a bad move. Queen e6 check is good. All right. Here, and then he takes. All right, it's accurate. Level 5 would have done that. Yeah, this is impossible. All right. Interesting game, man. You're kind of crazy, though. You're crazy. It's not a draw. He lost. All right, so that's move 11. Ubatis, Soltigo. I've got just 15 minutes left. Nefedov, Mule Skinner, Haberbaum, Chess Testosterone, Arsenal. We're going to briefly go through the rest of these games. Breezing through them. Got very, very short time left. So Nefedov, quick look here. Just like 3 minutes per game. Okay, so this is Nefedov with white. He's playing against... Oh, Aleke, right. This game, did I see this game? Yeah, this is Nefedov's game against Aleke. I thought it was... Aleke is a little suspicious. He played like a phone against me. Like, when I played this guy, he's a subscriber, but... I mean, you know, so a couple of his games were a little bit phone-like. d4, c takes d4. C takes d4, knight takes d4. Knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, e5, Sveshnikov. This is the guy's repertoire. So he knows what he's doing. He definitely knows the Sveshnikov. If he's legit, if he's a legitimate master strength player, I'm not surprised if he could play, you know, 18 cent pawn loss with no inaccuracies. If the game's not that long, Sveshnikov players are very well prepared in their lines. There's a lot of theory here. So this is just the beginning. Now if he played h4, I think Kasparov played this against Topalov, if I'm not mistaken, in a game. I think it was Kasparov Topalov. It was Kasparov somebody. Then it can't be the exact position because, sorry, that game would be in here. See you later, Mule Skinner. See you later. Yeah, I think h4 is a slightly different position. Kasparov probably played it a move later, like knight c2, and then bishop g5, h4. You see, this is better, man. You're gaining a tempo. You know, although he's getting his bishop to h6, I got Polgar Topalov, but I don't see the Kasparov game. But that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Possibly it's not in here for some reason. Still could be like, yeah, one move later when Gary played h4. He played a brilliant game with white one time. But, alright. Nefedov actually, he's forestalling bishop g5 with this move. Yuri Silger. This must be like correspondence. There's a Velimirovich game, which is a good testament to h4. Velimirovich has a lot of interesting ideas. So, something just happened which I don't fully understand. Like, when we played h4, black played bishop e6, and like, Nefedov just traded on f6. This move makes no sense to me. Black could even take with the g-pawn. Probably wouldn't be that bad. But I don't think you should do that, you know? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You're trying to fight for d5. Now you're trading your knight off. Yeah, where is the Ponda? Hey, what's up, guys? Nefedov. I like h4. Yeah, no, the Super VJ, I don't remember. Like one of Kasparov's best games. Queen takes f6. This is weird for me. And this is definitely like suicidal. I mean, this doesn't seem right. So Nefedov played this badly. I mean, that looks very materialistic, and you're losing the thread. Like, you're grabbing material but falling behind in development against a dangerous player. Rook d8. I mean, this was pretty crazy, though. Computer actually says queen f4 here. How do you figure? I mean, if somebody plays that, I know they're an engine, you know? That's, like, gotta be an engine. Queen f4. But, no, your opponent played rook d8. What is that? Rook d8 with the idea of queen f4, like the reversed version of that? But the computer doesn't play rook d8 for some reason here. So that's the difference. He has queen c5 now. Nefedov just took the piece, though, and this is obviously very, very dangerous. Queen f4. Also possible queen h6. Now black has just really strong attack. I mean, it's possible that he just knew this line. You know, he doesn't have to be a computer to play like this. Like, he's had this exact trap against some other players. Yeah, it looks like an engine move, but I mean, technically, like, the engine move was like queen f4 immediately, and the second best move was like rook c8. Because Nefedov could have played queen c5 here. So it's not really an engine move. I mean, if he was an engine, he would have played queen f4 immediately, I guess. Which has the double threat of attacking e4. Nefedov killed himself by playing queen c6. He can still hang on with like queen c5. But queen c6, and this is, yeah. I mean, you know, who knows? But now it's just lost. Castles, and then again the computer plays what here? Rook h3. Wow. Okay, that is pretty weird, dude. I mean, rook h3 is pretty weird. Is that like the engine's #1 suggestion? Yeah, the engine actually prefers bishop h3. So the rook h3 is a pretty suspicious move. I gotta say, you know, but it's not impossible to find that. But if this guy played games like that on a regular basis, I would definitely be highly suspicious. All right. Let's move on to Mule Skinner. We did to Haberbaum. Okay, last 3 games, guys. I'm just going to breeze through these 3 or 4 minutes apiece. So he could be an engine. It's hard to say. It looks kind of suspicious. The rook h3, I mean, that's sort of careless, though, if you're like a cheater to play that move. I mean, to play your last move in a piece-up position, it's like you want to get reported or something. Okay, this is Haberbaum. But let me clarify which game he wants to go over here. Round 3 in the study where I'm white and the Queen's Gambit declined. He's a what? Stockfish number 2 player, lots of them around. Very possible. He also played against me a weird game where he got mated like by like kind of not seeing over the horizon. It was weird. It felt like a phone, you know, playing a weak phone. Okay. But I don't know. You know, I need more information. This is round 3. This is Haberbaum against a 1727. Uh-oh, looks like I need to sync. Hopefully the sync will work. Queen's Gambit exchange variation. Okay, cool. I was actually teaching this to someone recently. Haberbaum more, you know, well knowledgeable. I've got to be honest, I don't like c6 that much. You know, I think that it's better to delay c6. That's what Sadler talks about in his book on the Queen's Gambit declined. So I would prefer to play castles and try to abstain from c6 for as long as possible. So you can play c5 later on. Bishop d3, h6. Yeah, I mean, one of my teammates plays this, and I'm like, what is this? You know, I don't really like this line for black. It just seems strange to me. The guy just keeps getting bad positions. One of my teammates in the Hungarian team championship, he lost like 3 games in this line, and I just don't get it. You know, like, why are you playing h6? I think that black should play normally. But you have both choices. I mean, it looks like both bishop f4 and bishop h4. The games where my teammate kept losing are like everybody played bishop h4 pretty much. And I think that h6 is just not really a good move for black, to be honest. This is a different treatment though. I'm not sure. Because it seems like here black's going to trade your bishop off anyway with bishop d6. That doesn't seem to be the main move right away, but eventually he can do that. Still, it's better for white here. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what black's supposed to do. I don't like h6, but I would think this would be like the logical continuation. And you don't want to exchange on d6 and bring his queen out. So you just have to make like a developing move. Okay, there is an interesting move there. Adalik played with white, a game where he played queen f3. This is interesting because it's very recent, and Swat is an extremely well-versed player in theory. He knows a lot of theory, so this must be a good plan. You know, if he makes a mistake later in the game, it's possible, but I trust him as far as the openings go. Yeah, this looks to be like you can trust whatever Adalik does. Opening theory-wise, he's excellent. So that seems to be the answer there. Okay, knight on bd7, h3, good move. Now he can't play bishop d6. Knight e2. Where are we going to put the king now? So you're going for minority attack. Once you play h3, there's no more. And once you play bishop f4, there's no more like central pawn thing. a5, a3, standard minority attack, b4. This looks okay. And now where do we go? Maybe bishop e5 here. You automatically play bishop h2, but yeah, if bishop e5, then he has bishop d6. You have to think about bishop e5 at least. Because there's the possibility of playing something crazy like bishop e5, bishop d6, f4 in your face. So that's really weird, kind of controversial. Alright, let's call this the normal move, bishop h2, because you are protected by the rook. But I don't know, you've already... Is trading the knight for the bishop a bad option? Yeah, like, you mean like 96, bishop e5, bishop d6, bishop takes f6? It's, you know, it's happening sometimes. But it looks to me like you're playing this standard minority attack, but black's getting some kind of creepy threats on the king side. And I'm a little concerned about what white's king is doing. You know, you can't castle queenside unless you're Siltigo and going here. I mean, you're walking into an attack on the king side. I'm not sure. You know, I don't take any responsibility for the game, really. Once you play bishop f4, I like bishop h4. If I had to go by the teammates' games, how he lost like 3 times, the similar type of position, just standard stuff. But yeah, but it's possible to exchange there. You'd rather not. Now knight g5. This is a kind of a little bit of a weird looking move. Bishop d6. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with bishop d6. Is f4 a problem? This to me seems like pretty much obvious. You know, I mean, is this going to be what's going to happen here? Going to happen here? I don't know. You know, but it's going to be very, very double-edged. Because suddenly this becomes backward down the line. I'm not sure f4 is a good move. And if f4 is not a good move, then I don't really know what white's supposed to do. You know, we can't leave our king in the center forever. So he goes off with knight g5, but this may be too much. Knight g5 is a little weird. I'm unhappy about the white king just being in the center of the board here. I don't like that. Now Haber trades his bishop. It has to be done sometimes. But it's obviously a huge concession. I don't know what choice we really have now. And I'm not sure about the last move. But as I said, okay, queen c2 seems a bit more natural than queen b3. It's not really possible to stop this though. You know, because he's got things. A lot of questions and not so many answers for you guys. I don't like white leaving the king in the center too long, and I don't know about h3, and I don't know about bishop f4. And I don't like this right here, right now, because I don't know where we're going. b5. I'm not surprised if white lost this, because it's a little opaque to me. Structurally, you're fine. Your king is not really fine, and the bishops could be dangerous. Now these pawns are dangerous too. So, I mean, my advice would be to change your plan to playing. My advice would be to change your plan to playing just like bishop h4. It seems like a lot easier to play this type of line, a lot more straightforward and normal. I think it's more standard. Okay, let's see what we got left. So last game, we got 2 left: Testosterone and Arsenal. Quick look, guys. Just like 3 minutes per game because I got to go. All right, Testosterone. Here's a game that where I did everything wrong. Ultimately resigned out of frustration and regret. I'm laughing out loud. Maybe you can shed some light on it all. Okay, well, it's 23 moves. We can take a quick look. So he's playing white here. No, he's playing black against Cam. Sorry. This is from our viewer tournament, guys, on Tuesdays. c4, e5, g3. Same opening we saw earlier today. Black played g6. Kasparov like this. Bishop g7 here. Yeah, Alexander Ivanov, I remember, was a specialist in playing knight e7. I think you should play that. That's a good line. Knight g7 is probably the best for black. Ivanov probably played f5 against me too, which is also kind of psycho. I had a psycho game with Ivanov once. He just went off on me. Black can play like a crazy man. But knight f6 I don't like as much. You know, this seems like a transpositional move. Try to play knight e7 or f5 or something crazy. I mean, d6 is fine. That's going to be a transposition. Anyway, okay, knight f6 is not a bad move. It's like, but you're putting your knight in front of your f pawn, which I don't really like. Standard Botvinnik variation for white, but the knight a little bit misplaced here in a sense, because white's breaking first along the f file. I think white is just slightly better. Now, I've had this position like a million times with colors reversed. People are playing King's Indian attack. This isn't good. You should play c6 and a6. c6, a6 for b5. That's the best. I actually played this once or twice for black. c6, a6, b5. It's your absolute best chance. You could also play knight c6 probably and transpose to a kind of Botvinnik, normal Botvinnik system. Again, I don't really think the knight is optimal on f6, but it's okay. a5 is weird. So you got some random games here, you know. But bishop g5, not really a good move for white. I think h6 is a useful move. It gives you an inaccuracy. I mean, give me a break. h6 is a useful move for black. Bishop e3 and now knight g4. Okay. And now you try to do like f5, which is logical. You get sliced. No, white played f3. The computer really likes white after e takes f5 here. Tough to decide, but you know the problem is you can't take back with this, and this is why c6 is a good move. c6 nullifies the bishop on g2. You take back with the g pawn, he plays f4, fixes your structure. You can't take back with the bishop because you lose b7. To take this way, I mean f4 or f3 and f4, you know, for example. I think that white is slightly better, structurally speaking. So quick analysis: f3 is weakening for white, but his position is still good. And he plays f4, knight e5, bishop e3. And now you have knight g4. Man, you have a good game. You just missed it. That's weird oversight. To miss knight g4. He's so weak on the dark squares. He had to play h3. But he had no time, though. So he probably played f4 too early. Yeah, I think you played this okay. He has to play a very careful move here, like queen c2. Bishop e3, knight g4, and black is better. I mean, this was actually a blunder by white. You're all over him on knight g4. This is actually terrible for him. Bishop takes c5. I don't think this is good for white. I don't think this is good at all. I mean, you got the dark square control. So that was your big mistake. Played knight e6. Was a little too routine. And now you might have just lost a pawn. Is f5 just hanging? You played knight g4 out of desperation. Knight g4 is desperation. He goes back to d2 here. And then where? Bishop back to f4. Kind of a weird sequence. Seems like both sides might have made like slightly inaccurate moves. But you finally played c6, and now you've got what I would almost classify as like a totally normal position after all the smoke cleared. Like a lot of inaccuracies by both sides, but it doesn't look so bad, you know, that you've nullified this. White has a slightly better structure. You can get his bishop. That would probably be, you know, interesting. So it goes wrong from here. King h7. Yeah, I guess I would play king h7 here. You don't really want your heavy pieces to have to be tied down to protecting pawns. Instead, you play queen f6, which looks weird. A little weird. Because the queen could be kind of vulnerable. Not so bad in itself, though. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it all looks okay. And then you just, no, again, like you didn't take. Taking on f4. I think that's a piece. It's a bishop, man. It's an important piece. Your refusal to take that, and I guess play this position, was relevant. Of course, this relies on the tactic of finding knight takes c4. Yeah, I don't know. I would have just played like knight f7. I mean, this is actually surprising. Computer says that white is much better after knight e2. I would have probably stumbled into this, missing knight takes c4. This is why you rejected it, no doubt. But Cam played this part of the game really well. Bishop e3. He's like, I don't know much about him. He's been on the stream playing in these tournaments sometimes. Well, black resigned. A little bit of a strange spot to resign. Oh, this was 40-40. This wasn't in the viewer tournament. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't realize. I wasn't paying attention. You just resigned here. Wow. That's pretty brutal. I think it's an early resignation. No, I assume this was played in our viewer tournament because I didn't look, but I mean I know both of you guys have been playing in those before. Yeah, it's just way too early to resign. I mean, white's clearly better with the structure, but it's just, yeah, you shouldn't give up. You can play on here. Okay, guys, last game. I gotta go. I'm gonna take a very quick look at Arsenal fans game. One of the best games he ever played. We can't do it service. We can't do it justice here. It's only like 3 or 4 minutes. Take a look, but do the best I can. Yeah, Arsenal fan is black against RL12. Thanks to new subscribers. Guys, please support the stream with donations on PayPal and bits here. We got ID Bart and X1 Horse 1 supporting the stream today with bit donations. Thank you so much. Petrov. Arsenal playing the Petrov, or trying to play the Petrov, and then black plays knight c6. So d4. And I always like to play bishop b4 just for fun, for something different here, Arsenal. If you ever want to try something different, it's kind of a fun variation to mix it up a little bit, get white out of book, well, out of the main lines. So, but anyway, it's correct. You know, you're playing correctly here. This is the best line. Take, take, take. He takes. You know, Nimzovich he has games going back to the early part of the 1900s. This is actually still a popular line, although if you look, like, white has no plus score. I think the top players accept this position is absolutely equal for black. Is bishop b4? If bishop b4 is d5, not good. If bishop b4, you know, it's complicated, by the way. Sorry. It's really complicated. No, it's like critical, probably d5. And then knight e7. But you're on the e4 pawn. No, I mean, actually, the main line is, I guess, knight takes e5. Knight takes e5, queen e7. Pretty complicated stuff. Alright. So, anyway, into the main line, Nimzovich, 4 knights, Scotch here. Scotch 4 knights. This is all theory. Queen f3 is one of many moves. This is like Nimzovich versus somebody from 1913. c6, bishop g5, all theory. Tons of games. Bishop e7 is not the only move, it seems to me. That's one thing top grandmasters are willing to, like, allow bishop takes f6 and trade the queens, go into some ending with double isolated pawns. So bishop e7 is like a tad passive. We could look at the statistics here. There's enough games that it's very relevant. You see, like, bishop d6 is considered to be superior. And there are even other moves. Looks like rook b8 has an excellent score. Probably like a pretty modern move. So the idea, Arsenal fan, is that this threat is not really a big threat. If he trades on f6, you're going to take with the queen, and basically like Kramnik in a Queen's Gambit. Like any kind of double f pawn, isolated double f pawns are not that bad. This is just old school, a little bit passive. Here, rook e8, I suppose. h6. I don't know. I didn't know this is like theory. You know, I have no idea. Bishop takes h6 is like the main line. So apparently this is dangerous. Erdos against Markush. Wow. Maybe there's like a known draw variation here. But I mean, it looks like you're asking for it with h6. It really does. So this is apparently like Erdos Rager. Possibly like prearranged draw or something, you know, from some team championship. They're both about the same rating. A draw wouldn't hurt anybody. This smells like prearranged draw. This is Grandmaster draw variation, I guess. Not too many though. Only 10 games. 9 draws. Someone managed to lose. Who's the lucky guy that managed to lose? Oh, some random 2300. That's the problem with being a random 2300. You just don't know the lines. So you have to play queen d6 and it's apparently like a forced draw. Maybe Soltigo could find something else. So Arsenal knows the forced draw. Here, that's a good move. Now trying to trade pieces, also a good move. Now what? That's the problem. What do we do now? Rook b8, okay. Morozevich against Fedoseev. b3, slightly weakening the white structure. Knight a4. Actually beat this guy Palikian once, but knight e2, according to the engine, is better. According to theory, is better. So this apparently is like inferior. Arsenal played rook e8. Karsten Mueller against Minka. And White is playing this Nimzovich plan, man. He's got the pressure with c4. Very standard. And Black drifted into a passive position with rook c8. So that's a slightly more active move, playing like a Tarash Queen's Gambit. But now White's structure really tells. White is slightly better. So now he's slightly better for clearly. And you're groveling a little bit. But it's not enough to lose. Like, this should be still holdable for Black. I think the way you played it is fine. This is a big question, though, to exchange rooks or not. I kind of feel like maybe you should exchange rooks, but I can see not exchanging as well. I'm a little worried about bishop g6. Yeah, this is a tricky ending to hold now with both rooks. I felt like it would have been a little easier for you if you had traded one set of rooks. Whichever way you recapture, because both are possible. Here, I'm not really sure which I like better. Either way, you're like groveling for a draw in a tiny bit worse position. This way looks more dangerous because of that move. You know, you don't have any active play here now. Now he can fix your pawn. He could shift to the c file, but you do have a passed pawn. I'm not sure I like his exchange on d5 though. Yeah, I wish I had more time. More time to analyze this, guys. I gotta go, so we'll just play through this quickly. But Arsenal is defending here. King f8, a good move. That was I was afraid of that, and so he goes for broke with d4, which is like probably necessary evil. And this move looks awkward, but he's trying to defend his pawn with knight b5, which he does. So you're fighting to just hang on in this game. And there was a really nice tactic with knight e2. Rook e5 here. White's still slightly better. This guy was good. He's an IM. I mean, not a wonder. Here, f5. Played a quality game. Strongly entrenched. I'm a little bit worried about the queenside majority for White. You know, potentially. Hard to mobilize it. Yeah, nice job. Very fast. I'm talking to our moderator. Banning the idiots here. So you can't take back, but that was good. You managed to hang on with rook d6. And you got g6, no matter what. Yeah, nice defense. Everything's protected. And now Arsenal appears to be at least equal. I mean, it's hard to believe, but Black might be better. Now the king is getting active, and White has weaknesses on the dark squares. a5 is an excellent move. And then g5 wasn't necessary. I think he was just putting all his pawns. But you should really go with the king, probably. I think g5 is just unnecessary waste of time. Just safely putting all your pawns on the right color, so you can't lose. But you should be running with the king. You know, the king is the first priority in all endgames. King safety is like, I mean, king activity is like first priority. He missed a shot there with rook f3, check rook f5. Now you're clearly better. And White resigned. Another slightly premature resignation, but he was probably in bad time pressure in a simul. So, nice game, man, overall. But you should look into the opening. You can allow bishop takes f6 and take back with the queen, go into endgames. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And that's the purpose of the stream. I will be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. with Blitz 5+3 against all challengers. Open challenges. Thanks again, everybody, for watching, subscribing. Thank you, Soltigo, for hanging out with us, doing a good job moderating, man. Really on the ball tonight. Thanks, Infinite Flash Chess, and to all of our subscribers. I really enjoyed going over these games, and I wish I had more time. You know, I wish I had like 5 hours to do it, but we do the best we can in a limited amount of time. Who was the IM? This was RL12. RL12 from Cuba. Usually they're good players from down there. I will see you guys later. Have a great one. Ricardo Leva. We'll see you guys later. Have a great one. And thanks to Soltigo. Bye-bye.